What's going on, Browns Nation? If you thought this offseason was going to be quiet, think again. Cleveland just dropped a bombshell that's shaking the entire AFC North to its core, and trust me when I say this changes everything. We're not talking about minor tweaks or subtle adjustments here. This is seismic. This is the kind of move that defines a franchise for the next decade. And if you're bleeding orange and brown, you need to hear this right now. Before we dive into the chaos, do me a favor. If you're a die-hard Browns fan who lives for this team, hit that subscribe button. Help us build the strongest Browns community on YouTube. We're pushing hard to grow this family, and every single one of you matters. Share this with your friends, your family, anyone who rocks Cleveland gear on Sundays. Let's do this together. All right, let's get into it. The Cleveland Browns just made a decision that nobody saw coming, and it's the kind of call that separates franchises willing to settle from franchises hungry to dominate. The organization has officially parted ways with head coach Kevin Stefanski. Yeah, you heard that right. The same coach who brought playoff football back to Cleveland, the same guy who won Coach of the Year, is gone. And whether you agree with it or not, this move tells you everything you need to know about where this team's mindset is right now. The Browns aren't interested in moral victories anymore. They're not celebrating wild card appearances. They want championships, and they want them now. Jimmy Haslam didn't sugarcoat it either. During his press conference, he came out swinging with some brutally honest words that probably stung for a lot of people in that building. He said it plain and simple: winning just 8 games over the last 2 years is absolutely unacceptable. That's not the standard Cleveland is setting for itself. That's not what this fan base deserves. And honestly, he's right. When you look at the talent on this roster, when you see names like Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, and Amari Cooper suiting up every week, 8 wins in 2 seasons feels like a complete waste of potential. Let's be real for a second. This past season was rough. A 5-12 record doesn't just sting, it burns. Sure, they ended on a couple of high notes with wins against Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, and those games felt great in the moment. But those victories were like putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone. They didn't fix the underlying problems that plagued this team all year long. The offense was a disaster, plain and simple. We're talking 31st in the league in points per game. 31st. Do you know how hard it is to be that bad at scoring in today's NFL? This is a league where teams are dropping 40 points like it's nothing, and Cleveland could barely crack 17. The passing game was equally embarrassing. Ranked 31st in passing yards per game at just over 165 yards. Think about that. In an era where quarterbacks are slinging the ball all over the field, where the rules are practically designed to favor explosive passing attacks, Cleveland couldn't move the ball through the air to save their lives. And don't even get me started on the run game. 97 yards per game, 27th in the league. For a team that's always prided itself on physical, smash-mouth football, that's a slap in the face to the legacy of this franchise. Now, I know some of you are probably sitting there thinking, wait, didn't Stefanski take us to the playoffs? Didn't he win Coach of the Year? And yeah, he did. That 2020 season was magical. We finally broke the curse, we won a playoff game, and it felt like Cleveland was back. But here's the harsh reality of the NFL. You're only as good as your last season, maybe your last 2 seasons if you're lucky. And the last 2 years have been a letdown. The offense never found an identity. The quarterback situation has been a revolving door of inconsistency and injuries. And at some point, ownership has to look in the mirror and ask if this coaching staff can actually get this team to the promised land. Haslam made it clear that this isn't about blame for the sake of blame. The organization is taking full responsibility for the failures. But taking responsibility also means making hard decisions, and this was one of them. You could hear the frustration in his voice when he talked about needing to give the fans a better product. And he's not wrong. Browns fans are some of the most loyal, most passionate, most resilient fans in all of sports. They've stuck with this team through decades of heartbreak, through coaching carousels, through draft busts and missed opportunities. They deserve better than what they've been watching on Sundays. So what happens now? This is where it gets really interesting. The search for the next head coach is officially underway, and this hire is going to define the next era of Browns. Football. Cleveland needs someone who can do 3 things: develop young talent, fix this broken offense, and build a culture of winning that sticks. They need a visionary, someone who can look at this roster and see the championship potential that's been sitting there untapped. Because make no mistake, the talent is there. Myles Garrett is one of the most dominant defensive players in the league. Nick Chubb, when healthy, is a game-changing running back. Amari Cooper can still make plays. The pieces are on the board, they just need someone who knows how to put them together. The front office is going to be looking at all kinds of candidates. Maybe it's a hot offensive coordinator from a high-powered offense who can finally unlock Cleveland's potential on that side of the ball. Maybe it's a defensive-minded guru who can build on what Garrett and the defense have already established. Or maybe it's a young, hungry coach with fresh ideas and a proven track record of turning struggling teams into contenders. Whoever it is, they're walking into a situation with massive expectations and zero margin for error. This fan base has been patient for way too long, and they're ready to see results. And let's talk about what this means for the roster going forward. Every decision from here on out is connected to who the next head coach is. Draft strategy, free agency moves, potential trades, it all flows from that coaching hire. Do they go all in on fixing the offense? Do they draft a quarterback early? Do they make a splash in free agency to bring in veteran leadership? These are the questions that will define the offseason, and Browns fans are going to be glued to every single report, every rumor, every leaked conversation coming out of Berea. Here's the thing, though. As frustrating as this season was, as disappointing as the last 2 years have been, there's a reason to be optimistic. This move shows that the Browns are serious. They're not content with mediocrity. They're not going to accept good enough. They want to compete for Super Bowls, and they're willing to make uncomfortable decisions to get there. That's the mentality of a winning organization. That's the mindset that separates pretenders from contenders. Cleveland has a rich history. This is a franchise with legendary players, iconic moments, and a fan base that's been waiting way too long to celebrate a championship. The goal isn't just to make the playoffs. The goal is to bring a Lombardi trophy back to Ohio. That's what everyone in that building is chasing, and that's what every single Browns fan is dreaming about. And you know what? I believe it's possible. This roster has too much talent, this city has too much passion, and this organization is too committed for it not to happen. The off-season is just getting started, and it's going to be a wild ride. There will be speculation, rumors, hot takes, and probably a few surprises along the way. But through it all, Browns Nation is going to be there, watching, supporting, believing. Because that's what we do. We stick with this team through the highs and the lows. We show up every single Sunday, no matter what. And when this team finally breaks through, when they finally bring that championship home, it's going to be the sweetest moment in Cleveland sports history. Real quick, if you're enjoying this breakdown and you want to stay locked in on all the latest Browns news, smash that like button right now. It helps Browns Breakout grow and makes sure you don't miss any updates as this story develops. Seriously, it takes 2 seconds and it makes a huge difference. So here's my question for you, Browns Nation. What do you think about this move? Was firing Stefanski the right call, or should Cleveland have given him more time? And more importantly, who do you want to see as the next head coach? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from every single one of you because this is our team, and every voice in this community matters. The future is unwritten right now, and that's both terrifying and exciting. But one thing I know for sure is that Cleveland is ready to turn the page. They're ready to build something special, something sustainable, something that makes this entire city proud. The pieces are there. The commitment is there. Now it's time to find the right leader to bring it all together. Stay locked in, Browns fans. The best is yet to come, and I'll be here with you every step of the way bringing you the latest news, the deepest analysis, and the most passionate coverage of this team. Let's get it, Browns Nation. Our time is coming.